Hi there, guys. Um, Wanted to make this quick video um, because this is something that has really been on my mind for a while. Um, it is, it's one of those things that's just like a given in the Black community almost. It's just like it's something that is just passed down, and it's just like as soon as you address the topic, this is the thing that pops up. And I don't know where it came from. And, but it holds all through it. Um, I want to speak on this subject from a personal experience. If some of y'all know me, y'all know I don't go with pages and pages and hours of research and so forth on things. I ask you to do your own research, which I think is best. And also, because I want you to get your own understanding. And I speak from my own personal experiences. So the subject and the topic is there was some kind of topic or something on Facebook that was, I can't remember what it was. I wish I could remember. But at the end of the day, it was, oh, I know what it was. It was a picture of a Black family, man, woman, children, um, looked like it was in the 50s or 60s, and one of a single mom with a bunch of kids asking what happened, basically. Just two pictures. Now, first of all, the problem with that is the pictures are very, I mean, you can say a thousand things about both of those pictures. We don't know who the people are. We don't know the circumstances in either picture. But these are, um, these are subjects who are usually thrown out. Um, and I will probably get backlash because if you just say Black men, they finna attack you, especially on YouTube. But it's usually those narratives are usually put out by Black men, and it was a Black man who made that post. Um, so the correlation. Let me just get to it. The correlation is uh, what happened back in the day with there were families and so forth, men in the homes, and then now today, a bunch of single Black women. Okay, a lot of stuff happened. Just at the end of the day, a lot of stuff happened. So some woman who I'm sure was fed to her, she's heard it a lot. Uh, oh well, because of welfare, the Black woman kicked the Black man out of the house, and that it is. And that is to this day. That's been over almost 50 years now, from the what 60s to 70s or whatever. 60 years or so, 50, 60 years or so. And it's just crazy how that has taken legs in the Black community. And that's the thing. That's the reason why there's no Black men in the house starting from back then, because Black women kicked them out for welfare. Here's my personal experience. I was a 70s baby. So I lived it. My mom had four of us. She was a single mom for the most part. She had gotten married, she got divorced, and so forth. Um, and so, but at the time, by the time I came along, she was divorced, and like I said, it was four of us, and we lived in an apartment complex. It wasn't really a housing project. It was just these little, I guess, low income apartments. I don't even know. Like I said, I was very young, but at the end of the day, just about everybody was getting food stamps. Just about everybody was getting a welfare check, which at that time they called AFDC, Aid for Families with Dependent Children. Back at that time, and there were men in the houses. There were men in the houses. There were men all over those apartments who Some of them were married to the women, some of them weren't. They were just boyfriends or whatever. But it was men, black men in those homes. I can't think really of too many instances where me growing up as a kid, it wasn't a daddy or the mom had some kind of boyfriend around. Yeah, I know the stipulation. One of the stipulations was that you can't have a man in the home, and that was only also at a certain. It was at a particular um, it, place in the food stamp thing. It was. I don't know for how long it went on. Um, but it also could have been like it is now, where if he's here, well, no, it was definitely a thing that it couldn't be a man in the home. I remember that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't know how long, how many years that lasted. Um, I also remember the welfare woman coming with her little board, and she checking off stuff, and she's looking at stuff and going in rooms and who lives here and oh and blah blah blah. And if any of you all remember the movie Claudine, that movie showed it perfectly. If you've never seen Claudine, it's a 1970 something movie with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones. Go look at that movie. It's pretty good depiction, because I remember that. I remember the people coming into our house and looking at stuff, which we had a little small apartment, so it wasn't much to look at, but they did that. And like I say, my mom didn't have a man in the home. My mom really, I don't really even remember my mom dating or having men around or anything like that. I mean, I know she did because she had us, but um, I think after she divorced from my brother's twin brother's father, she really didn't do much of that anymore. I don't know why. That was her own personal choice. But at the end of the day, like I say, there were many other factors, and that narrative needs to stop. It's an argument that brings about bitterness toward black women and towards the black relationship and the black family. Okay, let's say that was the case. Most of the people who still spread that narrative are in their 20s and their 30s. These people were not even a part of that particular time. And they've heard this and they're running with that. And even if that was the case, which it was, what's the excuse now? Men can be in the home. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's all kinds of loopholes. There's all kind of loopholes. That's what I'm saying. Back then, there were still men in the homes. Yeah, you wasn't supposed to, but there were still, they just didn't put them on the lease. And when the welfare people came by, which I think they would probably always give you notice when they were coming, the man just wouldn't be there. None of his stuff would be there, whatever. I mean, and people have still been doing that. They've been doing that for forever. You know, women today have men, they're on food stamps and whatever, and they have men in their home, but they just don't count as income. They don't have welfare workers going out inspecting homes and all that stuff anymore like they did. Yeah, maybe they had an agenda. They always have an agenda when it's us or black people. But there was always loopholes. So that needs to stop. That narrative of black women kicking black men out of the home for welfare, that needs to stop. I mean, that's just foolishness. First of all, if a woman was married or had a man coming home, actively bringing home his paycheck, taking care of the family and everything, yeah, the wages were lower. But here's the deal. For that woman to kick the man out and be like, nope, I don't want you. I don't want your check. I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm going to take the food stamps and the welfare. Those checks were so, just like today. You can't live off of that. You can't pay your rent, live off of that. And like I say, in my house, it was four of us, you know. And my mom still worked as a maid back then, doing what she used to call it days work, where she would go into the white people's home, clean it, come home, they give her what, 25 something dollars a day, whatever. Um, and yeah, so to not do that, and to put your man out if he has been bringing home a check for the welfare first of all, would have put the family in a much greater poverty status, much greater. Because the food stamps weren't that much, the little check wasn't that much. I mean, they're looking at you, they're deducting this and taking off this and that. Nobody, which is another horrible narrative that is out there, which I think was probably thrown out there by white people, is that people, black women, have been living off welfare and just balling out of control, and the government taking care of you, the government is giving you free this, free housing, free whatever. Those things are limited amounts of money, honestly. These are limited amounts of money. I don't know any woman, and have never known any woman from the 70s to up to now, who has balling out of control with a welfare check, balling out of control with food stamps, just completely balling out of control where she can just stay at home. I mean, usually these women are lazy anyway. Usually these women are going to keep cranking out babies and doing whatever and not going to work and not going whatever anyway. But a regular woman can't afford to live off of just that. I don't know what these other women may be doing, and I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying most women have still always had to work. So if you got a man in the house who's bringing home a check, why would you kick him out and say, no, I don't want you. I want the welfare. And but still now I got to go to work. That don't make any sense. It's the logic behind it. It makes no sense that that would actually happen. And I'm telling you from my own personal experience, unless some of you all have something else that you can share and give, uh, that wasn't what I saw. Every household in those apartments that we lived in as a little girl, every last one of them people had a man somewhere in there. And like I say, all of them wasn't married to the women, but they were there. They were in the house. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, this narrative needs to stop. Even today, you still hear people, first of all, need to go and do a history lesson on welfare in America. You need to do the history lesson on that, and how the laws changed, and what you could get. And I mean, you need to go back, because um, we have so many things that are anti-black women. We have so many men who are anti-black women for whatever reason. I'm not even going to get into that. Whatever reason they are anti-black women, these are one of the things that has been a long standing in the black community to make, I guess, black men feel good or justified about not being there, or whatever. Well, y'all kicked us out back in the 70s. Okay, but it's 2000 what? 2020 right now? That was a lot of years ago. If you want to be at home, if you want to be in the house with your children's mother or whatever, go there and be that. Welfare is not stopping you at the moment. So what is the problem and the issue now? What is the issue? I mean, we still have a generation of a bunch of irresponsible people who won't go and use birth control. And I'm talking about men and women. I'm not talking about just black men. I'm talking about men and women. Both are irresponsible. And then don't want to take care of the children when the child didn't even ask to be here. Welfare is not the problem today. So we need to let that go. We really need to let that go. That if you angry about that from back in the day when your daddy and your mama split me, you need to grow up, and you really, because nothing can happen. I mean, nothing can be done about that at this point. Nothing. I mean, I could be in anger. I mean, my mom had me out of wedlock with a married man. So, and he chose to stay with his family, which deprived me of a dad, which, if I want to be angry at my mom, I could be angry at my mom for even having me not using birth control because I got deprived out of a dad. I could be mad at him for cheating on his wife and once again choosing to stay with her and depriving me of a dad. I mean, there's so many things that you can hold on to from your past, but we need to get up, we need to grow up, and we need to learn and really do our research and really stop holding on to those things. I mean, that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, and it's very poor. The video's gone on long enough. I'm going to stop. But yeah, I suggest people do their research. That's something that just really, it bothers me and it angers me, because these women were not bawling out of control and doing much better because the men were not in the home. And like I say, the men not being in the home was not what I saw. And like I say, I was a 70s baby on welfare, food stamps, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see that. So I think we got a lot of bitter people with some misinformation, and that stuff needs to stop. It can't be excused as to why little little children today are living mostly without dads. Got to do better. So you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, we'll see you next time.